Hey, fourth and sixth hour, Friday, just before your quiz, and I just want to send you a quick message so that you're receiving the same message as the rest of the classes. So this is our first quiz, and I want you to know that the way that we work quizzes and tests in my class is that let's say you're at home and you're studying and you cannot get a hold of me, which you should be able to do. You should always be able to email me or whatever, and I'll respond. But you can't get a hold of me. Maybe it's 1 o'clock in the morning and you have a problem that you just don't know how to do. What you need to know is that on test or quiz day, when you walk in the door, if you ask me to do a problem, then I will do it for you in front of the class before the quiz. Okay, so whatever you ask me to do, whatever questions you have before the test, I'll answer. And so this is great for a lot of people, and especially you should know that if you're going to ask a question, the rest of the class is going to be really happy with you because it's very likely that your question is the same question that somebody else had, and they're just not brave enough to ask it. So you should always ask questions. And so we started all of our classes out this week with that idea. And so I have a couple of questions that other kids asked that I'm going to answer for you guys. I had asked you guys to send me any questions you had. I didn't receive any, but I'm going to start out with this video about, this is just to answer a couple questions that came in before the quiz and to make it sure that you guys are equal. So the first thing is, how do we use the yellow sheet? So the first question that I have is, so I'll just put this, I will get myself up in the corner here and drag over my video here. So here we go. All right. So here's our yellow sheet, and you have one in front of you. If you don't, ask your sub for it. You can see on this side, we have the metric system. And on this side, we have all of the equations that we're going to be using this year. Again, if you are concerned about for this test, remember, we're using this equation for speed, and here's our slope equation. But people said, well, how again do we use this metric system chart? And so remember that the base right here is the base unit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this quickly. I'm going to put this piece of post-it note here. And I'm just going to remind you that the base is either a gram, a liter, or a meter. Okay, and what we know is that we can have kilograms. We can have kilometers or kilometers, right? And we can also have kiloliters, but you guys may have never heard that before. But we can also have centigrams, centiliters and centimeters, right? And milligrams and milliliters and millimeters, okay? So that's, again, a review of how does the metric system work. And these are that's funny that they're paging Miss Epperly, and she's going to be with the 4th hour class, I believe. So anyway, so that's that. And so remember what we do is that once we go above, well, we're going to know that the system is set up that deca is 10, hecto is 100, and kilo is 1,000. And once we go down, well, we're going to do 1/10, 1/100th, and 1/1000th for milli. Okay. And then we'll remember that after we go outside of that initial beginnings up and down, that then we're going to start adding 3 zeros for mega. So instead of 1,000, then this will be 1 million, and we'll add 3 more zeros for giga and 3 more zeros for tera. Same thing on the way down. Add 3 zeros for micro from the 1,000. All right, so that's that. And then the other question that I got from a lot of people was, Mr. Block, what happens if I want to use y2 minus y1? And believe me, I love the fact that you guys are still retaining everything that you learned in 8th grade. But remember what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to find the slope of the line. And sometimes when we use y2 minus y1, we're wedded to this set of data. So what I wanted you guys to do is pretend, what if you didn't have this data? What if this did not exist? And instead we gave you a graph with everything set up for it and a number of points on the graph where we put everything there. Okay, so what if you then just had to grab a ruler. What if you then had to find slope from those points? All right, and so what I want you to do is then find your best fit line. Remember, come as close to some or all of them as we can. So here we have some of our points are down here, some of our points are up, and so we're going to put a line somewhere in between. Okay, and we're going to find that slope like this. I mean, we're going to draw our best fit line like that. Okay. Now we don't have these data points, so you're saying to yourself, Mr. Block, how do I find slope? Slope equals either y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and that's where people are asking me, well, I still want to use that. And then there was the other one we use, slope is equal to rise over run. And that one we can look at pictorially. Right? So either way, either this one or this one, we need to find 2 points that make it easy for us to figure that out. Now, in the quiz, there may not be 2 points that are really easy. You might have to fudge it a little bit, like maybe go in between half of the marks. But at least remember, you want to make things easy. So what we did was we said, let's go up the line and let's find spots where the line hits the grids. See, like that point right there. And if we keep going up here, we can find another one. My eyes are failing me right now, but I'm going to guess that maybe this is a good point right here. All right. So either way, you do this way or this way, you're going to have to find 2 points. Right? So now let's say we're going to do rise over run. So I'm going to just pictorially go, here is my rise. So I'm going to draw my line up for my rise. And then I'm going to go across from my run. All right. And then we need to write down what is my rise, what is my run. So we don't count the squares because remember the squares are worth different amounts. We actually have to figure out where we're going from. So this looks like 14 and this looks like 36. So we're going to go up 22. Right? And then our run is from 30 to, it looks like 85, 80, 30 to 80. So our run is 50. Okay. We'll put that rise right here. We'll put our run right there. And we'll be good to go if we remember to use our units, right? So our rise is 22 meters and our run is 50 seconds. All right, so what if instead we said, well, I really want to do y2 minus y1, that's what I did before. Well, all you have to do is then now find what these points are. So right here, this is my point 1 and this is my point 2. And I need to find out where they are on the grid. So it looks like it's at 30 and 14. So it's 30, 14. And then here, my point 2 is at 80 on the x, and it looks like 36 on the y. Okay, so if I wrote this down, 22 divided by 50 here on rise over run, what does this one get me? Well, it gets me y2 right here is 36 minus 14, and here we get 80 minus 30. We do that math, right? And we get 22 divided by 50. Get the same answer. Okay. Remember units. So either way is fine, and that was the question that I had to answer before. In the end, the question is really, what if you don't have this data set, right? Remember, it's always better to use points on the line, because if we have this situation where graphing is like this and the points aren't on our line, using the points would get us the wrong answer. We would find the slope of something other than the line. So it's a good practice to always find points on our line and use them to find slope. All right. I hope you guys don't have any other questions. Remember the 4-column method. We'll talk about that in a second when we get done with the quiz, why it's important to use it. I'll tell you of a couple examples of why it is so much faster. And if you have any questions in the middle of the quiz, just do your best. Remember, it's our first quiz. Quizzes can be redone, and we'll always give you the benefit of the doubt here. So we're just trying to get ourselves learning here. Good luck on the quiz.